I'm down to do that. So if you just go to github.com/apollographql/blog, all the source code for the blog is right there. So if you're curious and you want to poke around, just /blog, yeah.
Ah! That's not good.
Just
I mean,
go.
you can't
You
really
can just
see
go
anything, but let me go
remind me
over
later,
here
I guess.
and deal with this. Yeah.
Okay.
Confirm. Yeah, it didn't say anything bad. That's good. Cool.
GitHub's got your back.
Yeah.
All
All right.
right.
Yeah.
So,
Cool. Ooh.
like I was
No
saying,
stars yet.
no
Aw,
stars.
I'm the first.
Nice.
Cool. All right.
I'm the second. Let me get in there.
Take me through. Take me on a
Sure.
trip.
So, yeah, for the curious coder, you can just kind of like find your way around here. If you're familiar with Gatsby sites, this should all be pretty familiar to you. But if we open up the Gatsby config, I think that tells a bit of the story.
Nice.
We're going to look at the Gatsby config and the Gatsby Node file. So in here, there's one main plugin that drives the whole thing is Gatsby Source WordPress. This is an official Gatsby plugin that actually it hits the WordPress REST API to generate like nodes based on your WordPress data. So,
Got it.
So that's what we're doing. We get all of our post nodes, all of our menu configuration. Everything is everything is coming from WordPress. So that facilitates that connection. And then below that, we have Gatsby Plugin Sharp and Gatsby Transformer Sharp, which allow us to, it basically creates local copies of all the image nodes that get sourced from WordPress.
Okay.
Which is really useful. That means that we are, when we load images on our site, they're loaded from the static site itself and not from WordPress, which is typically what would happen. So that was another sort of big piece of the pie there. And now if we move over to Gatsby Node, we can just see how we're creating all these pages. This is, I guess, the last thing there while we're in Gatsby config is pointing out we're using this Elastic Lunar search plugin. So at build time, we create an index of all the content on the site, and we use Elastic Lunar to make those queries on our search page.
Which is really cool because like this is saying on the WordPress post type, like get these properties off of the nodes, off each node, and then it's going to index them for title and content. Is that essentially what I'm?
Yeah, exactly.
But it will also store these other data points so that in the search results you can have like more information available.
Yep, you got it.
All right, very cool. That's awesome. Sorry, I just I like Lunar. I used it on my like last version of my blog, and it's going to get to the point where I need search pretty soon, so I'm going to use Lunar again. So now you've just showed me how, so thank you.
Cool.
I could just switch the resolver type to like my MDX type, and I'm basically done. Okay. Very cool. So that's awesome. So yeah, Gatsby Node. Let's go check out Gatsby Node.
So in Gatsby Node, what we're doing is we'll get back to this create resolvers part at the top in a second, but in create pages, that is the real interesting part. So what I do at the beginning is just create or I execute a GraphQL query against my local Gatsby data graph. I'm asking for all posts. I want all categories except for the one called uncategorized, and I want all users. And I'm going to be making 3 types of pages here. So first is each of the individual post pages.
Ooh, okay.
So that's the first loop you see here. So I'm saying for each post, create a post page. Simple and straightforward.
Yeah, that's cool.
the next thing I'm doing is I want to create category pages. So I want to create one page per category, and then or one set of pages per category, because each category may have tons and tons of posts. So I want to have them paginated. So the way to go about that is I set some constant in here. In this case, it's page size, which I've just set to 10. That's my desired length of each page. And then I divide up the categories into groups of 10 and loop through all those. So that's what you see there. And what I'm doing is providing the current page size as a limit property on the context.
And then skip.
And in my skip property is the page size times the current page index. So at page index 0 or page 1, we're not skipping any. It's 10 multiplied by 0. We're not skipping anything. On page 1, we're skipping 10 multiplied by 1. And so on and so on. And
that makes sense.
Those properties get used in my category page query, where I'm asking Gatsby via a GraphQL query to give me all posts for this category, but limited to this number, which is 10, and skipping the ones that I've already rendered. So,
got it.
That's pagination in category land. And now the next section is my author pages. So I also mentioned that I was grabbing all the WordPress users, which in this case are blog authors, and we're just creating one page per user, and they get if you go over to the blog and you click on anybody's profile image, you'll see exactly what that looks like.
Very cool. Nice.
Yeah. So in this case, Sean has one post, but this will just render all the posts that a user has. And then finally, the last block there I have is our post archive. So once again, I'm actually going through for basically saying for all of the pages that I have to render, all the pages of posts. Just render a page and doing the same convention of passing in a limit and a skip value, and then relying on the page template to run the query.
Got it. That's genius. That's great. That's a great way to handle pagination. I love it.
Cool. And then the last thing I'll mention is if you scroll back up to the top, I'm using the Gatsby Create Resolvers API. And Gatsby, as I'm sure many people know, if you don't know, they leverage GraphQL behind the scenes pretty heavily, and they expose this API for creating custom resolvers based on other fields that exist in your graph. So what I wanted to do here is associate a user's avatar with a local WordPress media node. So as I touched on the WordPress or in the Gatsby config, I'm using the Sharp plugin to create local nodes for each WordPress image that gets sourced. And the node type for those WordPress images is, as you see here, WordPress WP Media. And all I'm doing here is saying I'm creating an avatar field under my user ACF, which is advanced custom fields. I realize now we're getting into the weeds here, but I swear the resolution will be soon.
It's about to round out.
Yeah. And all I'm doing here is saying I'm running a query for WordPress Media whose ID matches the source avatar ID, which is a value that I'm getting back from WordPress. It's just the ID of the media node that's associated with that avatar, so that then I can make that connection just on my front end schema at build time, and that's really the long and short of it. So I'm associating nodes in WordPress, and then the second resolver that I'm making is doing a similar thing, but it's associating a post call to action with a specific call to action type that I've created in WordPress as well.
Got it. Yeah.
So yeah, this create resolvers API is really useful for making these kind of connections between nodes at build time. If, for example, the reason that I had to do this is because Gatsby source WordPress wasn't giving me the data for these fields in the format that I expected. For example, that avatar, the user avatar field, I was getting back a media ID. There's not much I can't render a media ID in a image tag, so I had to make this this special connection for that case, and same thing for the CTAs.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And so just to recap, like to make sure I'm understanding this clear, essentially what you're doing in this case on line 20 is on the WordPress post ACF. It doesn't currently exist. You're creating a new field called CTA.
Exactly.
And so then this field is going to be of this type, WordPress WP CTA, and then this is the resolver that is responsible for handling sourcing that field.
Exactly. When somebody requests the CTA field on the WordPress post ACF type, that resolve function is run, and I'm essentially grabbing a node of type WordPress WP CTA, as you mentioned.
Okay. And so then the last thing is does this mean it only needs to be generated one time and then like the query and then just use the result of that in each substantial request? Or do you know?
What first only is doing is, so by default, run query will output an array of results
a collection.
that match your filter. And first only is useful for cases like this where I'm matching for equality on an ID, and I know that if there's going to be a match, there's only going to be one. So I'm asking for the first element of that array, which is going to be either something or undefined.
Okay, got it.
Yeah,
that makes perfect sense.
Anyway, that was a deeper dive than maybe anybody expected to get, but that's kind of the guts behind the blog at a glance. It's really not that complicated or intimidating once you really get into it. And Gatsby has lots of really good resources about all of these APIs and plugins and conventions that you've seen. So if you're curious, definitely don't hesitate to jump in there. Like I said, all the source for this blog is open. You can check it out, poke around. If you notice something that's broken, you're welcome to submit a PR.
Yes,
would definitely welcome that. But yeah, if you're considering using this kind of structure for your own website, I would definitely encourage you to check it out and see what you can find within this code base.